Hello everyone, I'm David with Softron. Now, a recent post in Video Engineering talked about one of the challenges we face as broadcast engineers, and that's vendor lock-in. So brands that really lock you into their ecosystem. So I thought that was a great opportunity to talk about Softron and our open API. For most users, the many features and intuitive interface is exactly what they need. But if you have a particular use case or customization you want, there is a path to do that. So we're very open to other solutions leveraging our API for interaction. Additionally, some of our solutions can actually host custom web pages. This means you can design your own custom web page and our application will host it. Now, all this information is available on our website, but here you can see a quick list of the applications with an API and a web server and applications with an API. So in this video, I'm going to show you how that can be done, some examples, and I'll also show you a few real cases from users. So let's go right into it. So go into something like MovieRecorder at the local host 8080/API. I can go and check out the API documentation. And so there's things in here like how to change destinations on a record or how to trigger a recording. For on-the-air video, we can go to the local host 8081 and /API. Some very common examples from this is playing an item with a simple get, skipping an item, or triggering a graphic. Now, each of the applications have a lot of documentation on what's possible, but I thought it would be really interesting to see a real-life scenario. So I'm going to bring in Phil Brooks. We spoke about what he's doing with the REST API.
Well, for our master control, that was our first, dipping our foot in the water for Softron, and from that it evolved into a full-fledged master control system that we run all of our playlists through 24/7. It's extremely reliable. So the thing that we liked the most about it was that for our engineering team here, it was intuitive. The power, of the product starts to come into focus is when you can punch in the IP address of what you want to control if you install on your video local on your machine, and you'll get a full featured interface that's just like you're sitting in the room. That works really well, even across a wide network. We've controlled on-air programs like in the middle of a hurricane in Florida, and we're in Texas. You can have somebody in Indianapolis control all of my playlists, and it's seamless, right? There's a lot that you can do talking across the API, and that's the power, is that once you start to expose some of this functionality to an end user, the end user can build their own automations. It used to take two to three operators to do that kind of stuff. Now one operator can watch a newscast across several playlists and hit one button and advance all of them.
So how about custom web pages? So now let's take a look at how you can make your own custom web page and the application can host it. We're going to use on-the-air video for this demonstration. I'm going to select a folder, and that's where I'm going to host all my web pages. So now any custom web pages I make inside of here will now be something I can navigate to. With your own custom workflow, obviously there are a lot of different ways you can use this, but I found a few examples that were based off of what customers need that I'm going to share with you. This one I found really interesting. It was allowing you to have a remote preview of on-the-air video, but you could actually do this with a countdown timer, adding the clip name, and having multiple instances of on-the-air video shown in one preview. For this user, they actually outputted this with on-the-air web link. That way it was only one source on their multi-viewer and not four. Another tool I thought was really interesting was a bulk offline creator. This tool would allow you to put in a path name, then choose the extension, and then you can add the offline clip before another clip. So before we'll make one and it's in the playlist. So in this example, I'll name it after, and I'll click multiple files and 5. That shows up after the other clip. Now these examples were made by other people, so it's not something that Softron has made, but if you do want to play around with these files and get used to it, they are available on our website. For another real work scenario, I want to bring in Seth. Now Seth built a whole page around MovieRecorder, his router, and how he can control it with his newsroom. And I thought it was very interesting how he put this all together.
So this is basically the page that I've created for our internal use here for MovieRecorder, and hopes to make it easy for news and production to use on a daily basis and without having to interact with the actual physical software. So at the top, I have all of our 8 encoders that we have going into movie recorder.
Mhm.
And then this will pick up if, let's just say we only have 4, it'll only show 4. If we have 12, it'll show 12 screens here. And it's grabbing the thumbnail from the API.
Mhm.
That's the image that's provided, and basically updates every half second, along with the VU meters like you can see on encoder 7. And basically, so then below that, I have the schedule recording section. So we have it set up so the main one is just to schedule a recording for day of. And then you can also do weeklies, or you can have one to start immediately. And then below that, we have the list. I'll have to add some one-time recordings here in a second. But the list of like one-time recordings, so this would be what's scheduled in the green, or our weekly recordings, which showcases all the ones we have that record either like every day for some of these or just once a week. You can edit them. So
Mhm.
editing them will also change on the schedule side on Movie Recorder. So if they need to change the duration or the day of or the destination, they can do that. Honestly, getting the Utah routing took longer than implementing your guys' API. It took a while. It took a while, but your guys' API. I mean, I had a page up and running in 2 days.
So thank you, Phil and Seth. I really appreciate you joining in. It's also good to know that Utah Scientific router controls are now available in on-the-air video, and they're coming soon to Movie Recorder. So I hope you learned something about Softron products, and you can see that we don't suffer from vendor lock-in, and we're very open to other workflows. So if you have any questions, you can always go to softron.tv, and you can reach out to us there. Thanks for watching.